That little fella bravely walking, between abortion, immorality, and how does he survive? But he does every week, and it's Moral Maze. And Tanya Granick-Allen, who's from Campaign Life Coalition, here every few weeks. Always a pleasure.
Very nice to be here, too.
Thank you very much. Now, I'm sorry if I'm being offensive here, but let's begin with Japanese sex dolls, as we always do. Japanese men who prefer virtual girlfriends to sex. Any number of jokes could be made at this point, but it's a major problem, not just because of the perversity of the actual issue, but Japan, they're going to run out of people.
They are, definitely. They have an aging population. Currently, a quarter of their population is 65 or greater.
Wow.
And this is a trend that's going to continue. And unfortunately, this has been the case since 1950s, where the population was at its peak. We had great alpha male Japanese, and now we're reducing ourselves and whittling ourselves in Japan to the point where now nobody's even interested in reproducing. Something like 1 in 4 married couples are interested in sex once a week. In Japan.
Sorry, what? Sex once a week?
For married couples in Japan, 25%.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, just stop the show for a few moments. That's very interesting. Now, there are some challenges specific to Japan. How shall I put this? It's a very race-conscious society.
Yes.
The way it perceives Koreans, Chinese people, let alone Europeans and North Americans. Immigration is very limited. It's perverse in many ways. I mean, you probably wouldn't be familiar being a good Catholic girl, but I mean, their pornography is extremely violent. There's a sort of obsession with rape pornography. I mean, it's quite worrying, very troubling, in fact. And now this idea of these sex dolls, and they'll be more and more sophisticated and real. I mean, we saw some pictures there, and they're still dolls, for goodness sake. But as they evolve, and with the Japanese attitude towards relationship and procreation, this is deeply troubling.
It is deeply troubling because they're actually in a population travesty, and they're depopulating their country. There's some of these men who are interested in these cyber girlfriends are actually married, and they're more interested in spending time with these imaginary girlfriends online than their real wives.
But it's hard enough to understand wanting to insert your what's it in a doll. But to have a relationship with someone who isn't real, and that's bizarre.
It is bizarre. It's very bizarre.
And I wonder what sort of man would actually be convinced that that piece of latex or whatever, is it, I don't
Perhaps that's why the population fertility rate is 1.1 per woman.
Yeah. The joking aside, if we were joking, the loveless nature of sex, the idea that it's just a transmission of bodily fluid, it's a spasm, the cult of the orgasm type of thing. This is really the quintessence of that it's a doll. And so anything you want, any sort of humiliation, degradation, objectification of a pseudo-woman, it's worrying. Now we were chatting before the show, I don't buy this. 1 in 4 students contract sexually transmitted infection in the first year of university. I don't buy that for a moment.
Well, look, whether you buy the stat or not, there's honestly clearly a problem university.
25% of all... Look...
I was a recent grad. I don't find this that obtuse, honestly. There was a lot of promiscuity on campus.
But you think of Muslim students, you think many Asian students who have very different culture, I think many very superior in many ways. You think of kids who simply don't act like that from North American culture. 1 in 4, no, I would say if half the kids are promiscuous, I don't think it's 50%. 1 in 4 students, a quarter of every student at university has a sexually transmitted disease.
In their freshman year?
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are part of Frosh Week activities.
They're trying to create a certain culture so they can then make fun of people who are not promiscuous. I just don't believe that.
I think our society is very sex-saturated, and I think there's an expectation when university students go to university that this is the norm, that it's normal to be promiscuous, and when you have high schools that are arming children with contraceptives and condoms and rubberizing them, if you will, perhaps we should get back to the good old-fashioned days where we teach children something like abstinence and truly safe sex, which is abstaining from sex.
We teach a bit of that, but when I went to university long ago, they were giving out condoms in the first week of university. A lot of the guys who received the condoms, in their dreams, nothing actually happens. You really believe that, I mean, how many kids do you honestly think at university in their first year are promiscuous? What percentage?
I'd say at least 50%, 60%. It's huge.
And how many of them are being infected? How many of them are that stupid and irresponsible to be infected?
It just takes one really infected guy to go and infect a lot of women. And they spread. Like, honestly, I'm not going on campus without hand sanitizer the next time I go.
I speak on campuses all the time, and I meet a lot of very responsible young people. And we disagree on this. I think there's a campaign to try and make us believe that everyone is promiscuous, irresponsible, and so on. Of course, that is there. It's a major issue. But I think this is an overestimation, and I think you're buying it.
Okay, well, let's take that as a challenge then.
Yeah.
Then if this is in fact if it is in fact true, these statistics, then let us reassess what we're doing in our high schools and prepare these students for a good, healthy future.
So what you're saying, and I just want to get this right
Yes.
from Campaign Life Coalition, you're saying be safe, use a condom.
No, I'm saying be safe, abstain.
Okay, I just want to get that completely
Okay.
right before, because you know what they're like? Dear Mr. Curran, I had no idea that you were such a horrible, vile human being. And that girl you had on with you. City of Hamilton, frustrated, well, I know it is, it can't get pro-life demonstrators on bylaws. So someone in Hamilton, an official, is upset they can't prosecute someone for having a pro-life opinion?
I know, isn't that awful?
Yeah.
But kudos to pro-lifers for being very creative in circumventing these bylaws.
Who is this person? A councillor?
This is a city councillor who's complaining.
In Hamilton? Wow,
In Hamilton.
I'm impressed.
There you go. And he's upset, and even though the police have said there's nothing going on that's improper, it's completely above law.
Yeah.
These pro-lifers are demonstrating by attaching a sign to them and leaning over an overpass on a highway.
Right.
And it shows the gruesome products of abortion, which is a baby, a dismembered
does it?
baby, and it's unsavory, of course, but this is the truth.
Yeah.
Why should their freedom of rights be trampled
you
upon?
want someone in a car with a 7-year-old to see that, do you?
You know what? It is the reality of abortion. I don't want,
Yeah.
I don't like seeing
What
porn
about
images
showing
that's
a
out
rape
there.
victim?
Like their face?
What
When
about showing what a brutal rape looks like and showing a picture of the victim? Would you like that?
Well, I think if a child is old enough to go procure abortion, they're old enough to see what the truth is.
What about if the child is 7 years? What about if I'm driving along and I have taken a lot of knocks over the years for being pro-life? You know, I have all sorts of things. If I was in, the kids are older now. If I was in that car and my kid was 5, I would be really pissed off if I had to say to them, that's a photo of an aborted baby. There's a time for me to speak to them about that, and I will, but I don't think everyone should be shown such illustrations.
And most of these demonstrations, though, do usually have a warning saying warning graphic images. But of course,
But if you're in a car, how do you avoid it?
I appreciate that, but what are we going to cut out then? The truth? I mean, I'm horrified by some of the Halloween images going on. I mean, I walk down my street and there's hands coming out of grave sites.
Look, I mentioned earlier, but I guarantee you there'll be people who are apparently pro-life, although they seem to be very full of hate to me, who are going to write to me now and be very angry with me because I dare to say this. But I have severe problems with these pictures being shown to people who are not involved in this debate. To an adult, especially someone who's pro-choice, you look at what the reality is. Yeah, I want that. But I don't think you include children who have no part in this in a conversation they're too young to understand.
And it's hard to do that, obviously, on an overpass. And I appreciate your point, Michael, I do.
Okay, good. Well, we agree. So, we meet in the middle.
I understand.
I'm still thinking about those Japanese sex dolls. I mean, do they have to blow them up, or they're always inflated?
Let's not even go there.
No, maybe not. What happens if they burst? It could be awful. I mean, it could be scarred. What would Dr. Freud say?
What would Dr. Oz say?
Thank you very much.